Hi everyone, Jess here, and today I'm joined with Peter O'Donovan from CarTrawler. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Not at all, delighted to be here.
So firstly, of course, there was a recently released 2024 CarTrawler Ancillary Yearbook. Could you identify some of the key trends that we were seeing in here, and how do you anticipate these evolving?
Really what for this year is highlighted is that the ancillary market for airlines continues to be huge and continues to be growing. And there's lots of really interesting dynamics happening within that, but I think one I'd highlight would be the inextricable link between ancillaries and loyalty programs. So what loyalty members of airline loyalty programs want is the ability to be able to earn and burn points on a multitude of different products. So airlines are even more focused now at ensuring that they can offer their loyalty customers more and more products to earn and burn points on as well. So that's going to be a key driver. The reason the airlines do that is it drives loyalty, drives repeat rate, it drives brand advocacy. So all of those are increasingly important to airlines in a world where margins continue to decrease.
Fantastic, and we'll get into the loyalty aspect a little bit closer, but how is CarTrawler positioning itself to support airlines in this changing environment?
Yeah, so one of the big areas that we're focusing into, which builds out from the ancillary report, is the importance of loyalty to our airlines and our travel brands. So if you think about it from a sort of a classic customer acquisition perspective, airlines and travel brands and other OTAs invest huge amounts to acquire customers. So they look actually to how do I get a return across multiple product offerings on that. So we bring to them the opportunity to offer car rental to their end customers. We've also wrapped it around a loyalty product as well. So many of our airlines and travel brands offer a loyalty platform through us, and that allows their customers to both earn and burn their loyalty points on car rental. And we've seen that really drive some really demonstrable impacts to them that we can prove to them happen. You know, the first of those would be it drives retention rates. So a customer in a loyalty program who rents a car is 25% more likely to extend their lifetime value for that customer. They also tend to upgrade the car. So if I'm trying to earn points by renting a car, I'll probably maybe rent a bigger car to earn more points. And then when it comes to redeem, which is burning points for car rental, what we're seeing is that consumers in the urge to book a car really want to burn their points, and we see that driving conversion rates. So all in all, it's a really quality product for the consumer and for the airlines. And in the US recently we ran a market research, which is how do we better understand the usage and attitudes of loyalty in the car rental customer. And one really interesting insight that we got out of that was that 1 in every 4 car rental purchases are not for what we'd call traditional travel, so they're not for vacations or trips. They're typically for what we're calling everyday usages. So airlines and travel brands that we work with have an opportunity not just to offer car rental in those examples of travel, but 1 in 4 is for everyday use. So airlines can now broaden the use cases they offer to their loyalty customers for that product, and therefore drive more revenue, but more importantly, drive greater utility into their loyalty base.
Fantastic, and if I had to push you for, let's say, a couple, what are going to be the key tech trends that are really driving change in this space?
Yeah, like the rest of society, everyone's been impacted by the sort of ongoing changes in technology and everything that goes on. So one I would highlight would be really around artificial intelligence. CarTrawler is sort of steeped in its use of artificial intelligence in terms of we've traditionally used that for revenue management purposes. So traditional machine learning models that price content in real time. The latest flavor or variant of artificial intelligence is obviously ChatGPT, and that's the hot topic at the moment. And we're beginning to trial and use that in the first instance with our customer service. So we provide customer service to hundreds of thousands of customers around the world as they purchase car rental, as they pick it up and as they drop it off. So we're using ChatGPT and particularly chat agents to help customers self-serve when they have common questions about will my driver's license work, what do I do at pickup, and about 25% of our calls in that use case are being handled very effectively by ChatGPT. So that's just one area we're investing in, but really it's the tip of the iceberg when it comes to ChatGPT.
Absolutely, and it's really interesting to see how things will develop and evolve as people try and do more with generative AI, because we're relatively early on in this phase. So, of course, you also recently announced some very exciting new partnerships. Can you elaborate on some of these and maybe talk about their significance, both with the partnerships and at these events?
Yeah, so we were delighted this summer to go live with American Airlines, the biggest airline in the world. also Finnair and Jet2, which is one of the largest travel package companies out of the UK. So some 3 exciting partnerships there, and really events like today, and the reason those partners sign with us is we're a B2B provider of car rental and ancillary services to the global travel industry, and that allows us to use our technology platform to offer car rental and mobility solutions to their end customer, driving revenues, driving use across their partner base as well, and innovations like our loyalty platform, our revenue management platform, but also investment into things like we're speaking about ChatGPT. That's why partners choose us, is because they know that we're the leaders in the space. We continue to invest into what is an ever-changing dynamic in the world of travel, and they're very confident in the fact that they're placing their trust in our brand and our platform to do that on their behalf.
Fantastic. And looking ahead, what are you most excited about for the near future?
Yeah, there's probably a couple of things. I would say for me, the biggest would be the change in travel demand. So as we look out over the next 20 years or so, we'd expect overall travel demand across the globe to more than double. And that's been driven by a number of factors. So one would be actually the Gen Z population. So about 20% of the population in the US and Europe is what's classified as Gen Zers. And typically they want to travel, they're increasingly becoming more affluent. So we're really seeing that going to drive the number of people who travel over the next few years. India, the subcontinent, is a real strong growth area. It's the biggest population in the world. Over the next 10 or 15 years, it's going to be the 4th biggest driver of travel across the globe. And that consumer, that sort of the growth of the consumer class within India is going to drive that. And by 2030, about 65% of the total Indian population, which is huge, 65% of it are going to be under 35, so in that high travel environment. And the final one, which might seem a bit off the beaten track, but is about the impact of Ozempic. So obviously the weight loss drug that's revolutionising healthcare around the globe. About 15% of Americans have tried it, about 6 or 7% are commonly taking it. And what we predict is as the obesity epidemic has been increasingly managed by this as a pharmaceutical drug, that's allowing people who typically had real concerns about travelling and their physical ability to travel, that is now going to be moderated as they lose weight and are able to travel. And that's a huge population. About 30% of the US population will be classified as obese. So as they become more confident to travel, more able to travel, that's a large number of people again who will drive that overall doubling of travel by 2040.
That's really interesting. And of course, like you said about the growing Gen Z population, it's going to be really important understanding how they travel and then adapting to that, because like you say, the world is changing and travel is completely changing.
It's very different how so where they consume media is very differently, how they want to travel, when they want to travel. So it's very different to other generations. So they're less driven by traditional advertising. It's more about social advertising, what their friends and communities are doing. They also tend to book more last minute. They also want more experiences. So it's less about in-destination, it's about city trips, it's about activities, and how they consume is very different. So this generation are mobile natives. They grew up with a mobile phone in their hand. So actually how they want to consume, how they want to transact is going to be very different. And these people expect really low friction in any experience they have, be that a booking experience, a customer service experience. They expect and demand really low friction experiences.
Absolutely, so it'll be interesting to see how travel changes alongside them.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights today.
No worries.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.